So welcome guys to another episode with myself, Dr. Arnold, and we've got a very special guest with us today, Dr. Grant, who is a dentist practicing in Devon at his practice, the White House Dental Practice. I'm a big fan of his Facebook page, Advertising and Marketing Tips for Dentists by Dentists. If you're not on it, you should be there because that's where it's all going down. I've learned so much from being a part of that group. He also mentors dentists, runs courses. I know currently he's running the Platinum Practice Solutions course. So he's a very busy man, and I've been able to get him for a short time just so he can impart some of his wisdom with us today. So this will be great, especially for newly qualified dentists who want to get some insight into the best ways to be progressing within your career, particularly as a general dentist. So Dr. Grant, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for asking me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
How are you doing? How are you getting on now that we're in the second national lockdown? You know, have things slowed down for you at the same pace? How is it all for you?
No, to be honest with you, I think that the feeling amongst the private dentists, I feel that it's got busier and busier. We've got more inquiries coming in, more people on Zoom. You know, there's more. I think there's free money just now with furlough. They're not spending it going out. They're not going on holiday. And I think there's a lot of money around. And I think people are choosing wisely. But I think if you hit the sweet spot with your marketing, I think things can be great. So I've just started the virtual consultations, which I swore I wouldn't do, but I've got a really cool platform that I'm being helped with, and I can, if anyone wants to message me privately, I can say who's helping me. It's from my dental design, and he's absolutely amazing. He's helping me design this virtual consultation. There's a waiting room with all sorts. So brilliant. So yeah, I'm finally dipping my toe in the virtual consultation market, which will help. But we shouldn't forget about the other pool of patients who are wanting to come in. If I went to see a specialist, I want to see them face to face. I do not want to see them online, so there are those, if you can offer both, I think you're laughing. So, in short, busy, really busy, which is great. I'm blessed, really.
Wow. And how did it all begin for you? Because you weren't initially a dentist. You're dual qualified, I believe. How did it all start? How did you get into dentistry? Did you fall into it?
I'd love to say I was dual qualified because my other degree isn't quite probably the same caliber as dentistry. I did chiropody first. So podiatry. So I did a 3-year podiatry degree, it's a diploma, and then it became a degree. And then as soon as it became a degree, while I was in the 3 years, it then became an honours degree. And then then it opened up a lot of possibilities to go and do dentistry and medicine. And my dad's a dentist, so he managed to get me squeezed through the door. And it's so funny. I know that the new qualified dentists, they tell me what they have to go through, and they have to sit there and they have to ask all these deep questions about what they do if they'd found someone's gym card, how they deal with it. Now, for me, this is no word of a lie. I had my interview in an elevator. So the guy said to me, "What, are you good with your hands?" I said, "Well, I take the odd corn out here and there." And he went, "Okay, do you want to come to dental school?" It was things have changed, but that was 20 years ago. So I feel sorry I don't feel sorry for you guys because, you guys are a different caliber of dentists that are coming through now than when I started. Yeah, no, it's changed a lot in 20 years, that's for sure. Well, but that's how I went from chiropody to dentistry, just because I wanted to keep bettering myself, do things differently. So yeah, I went from chiropody to dentistry.
And would you say your passion for dentistry has increased over the years, or would you say it's pretty much remained the same?
I think I think there's blocks of dentists who have graduated. So you've got the people who are ready to retire. You've got the people who are my age, so I'm 50 on Tuesday. You've got the sort of the dentists that are coming through now, and I think the hardest. I think it's hardest for the dentists who are my age because we're having to get used to all the different the GDC regulations, the notes. I mean, my day it would be like exam, scale, and polish. Yeah. That was it, and how much the patient owed. So I think things are changing significantly. And the people who are ready to retire, I think they're just retiring a few days early. you know. And I think the people who are coming through, the new dentists, they've just got it. They're on the money, you know. They're coming in, they're opening stuff like what you're doing, this group. They're doing, you know, they're doing Instagram. They know how to take notes. They know how to consent patients properly. So, albeit a lot of people go, oh well, you know, you don't get to cut a crown prep now at dental school, but by God, you guys know how to write a good set of notes that will keep you out of trouble. Yeah. Whereas, you know, people my age are playing catch up, you know. Yeah.
Well, I'd actually like to delve into that, but happy birthday for Tuesday. How have you kept ahead of the game all these years? Because, you know, some people will stay stagnant and, you know, patients will want to go to other dentists because of how they position themselves. How have you managed to keep up to date, on the cutting edge, and actually showing the way for many dentists like myself?
Do you know, I don't know. I love to change my colours every 4 years. I have to make sure things move on for me, or I just get bored. You know, like I've said before, it was what, 3 years ago, I've set up a number of squats, and, you know, if I said to my wife I was going to set up another squat now, she'd go mental, because it really does take everything out of you. You know, set up a fair few now. So 3 or 4 years ago, I said to my wife, you know, I'm going to set up a marketing group, and that was all it was on Facebook, the marketing and advertising group. And I just posted a few pictures, did a couple of competitions, and I realised that there was a gap in the market. So then that grew, and then you know, it's just a need to change, and I do not want to get bored. I don't want, and it's the fear of boredom that has made me go to the next stage, rather than wanting to stay at the cutting edge. I want to know when I get a write-up about how my marketing has gone, or when I paid a marketer and they come back with these graphs and say how many impressions I've got, or how many conversions I've got. I don't want to sit there and go, well, I don't know why I haven't had any new patients, and you've sent me a graph saying I've had 150 conversions. And so, you know, it was a case of, I like to know things. And so it was a case of, I just sat down on the computer and I used YouTube, and it took me hours upon hours of learning all the different things. But with that, where the new dentists like yourself have been brought up on social media, I wasn't. So I know the old type of dentistry as well, the old type of marketing. You know, they're putting the adverts in the yellow pages upside down, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So I know all the old type. But with my interest in marketing, I've managed to stay ahead or keep abreast of the things that are changing in the modern era. And so I've got the whole lot, rather than just the social media stuff, which people rely on too much. You know, they're you know, the leaflet drop and all that stuff, it's massive, you know, and people don't take advantage of the old style of marketing, and that's a shame. It shouldn't be a dying art, you know. It's still low. I still use all the stuff I've ever used, other than the yellow pages, which I don't think is available now. You might not even know what the yellow pages is.
I do, but I've never owned one.
They used to have a competition in the strongest man. They used to be able to rip them, but they used to be about that thick. But by the time that you guys came along and qualified, only a few pages, and I could have done it.
One of the comments that you put quite frequently is, "It ain't rocket science," and I think what I like about yourself, and especially on the group, is even for people that are using technical languages, maybe marketers, you like them to really simplify it down so that it makes sense and it's practical. How long would you say you've always thought like that things need to be practical? And, you know, marketing, what does marketing mean, or what is marketing for dentists? Why should we be concerned with marketing? You know, should we not just be concerned with just the clinical aspect of dentistry?
You know what? You're absolutely right. When you say, you know, you know, why I need it to be simplified is because, I mean, I graduated from school with like 2 A levels, like geography and English, C and a D. So I really, you know, someone shows me a graph about, and it just gets lost on me. I don't understand it. I mean, you could show me a graph that's really easy for people to look at and analyze, and I don't get it. There's something that gets jumbled in my brain when I'm looking at it. Yeah. So I need that type of level of understanding. And I think when now I speak to clients, and, you know, I've got clients all over the globe now, and they speak to me and go, I don't understand my reports from my marketer. Then you know, they're paying a lot of money. Some people are paying thousands of pounds a month to a marketer who hasn't explained the report. You know, you do a root treatment on someone, you've got to bloody well explain it, don't you? Yeah. And so why aren't marketers explaining these things? And you know, a lot of the stuff that we're wanting to do, simple things like changing websites, putting a photograph on a website, it isn't rocket science. And it would take you, it would take me 3 minutes to update a website, which would cost me what, 60 quid with some website designers, not mine because mine's brilliant, but you know, it used to cost me like 60, 70 quid, and I'm thinking I do that in 3 minutes. So you time how much that is an hour, and that, you know, there's no point you going to work because that they're earning more than dentists. So a lot of the stuff, when I say it ain't rocket science, and I started that, and I get that asked all the time, to be honest, it was to bring a lot of the marketers out to try and challenge me. And you know, I'm more than happy to be challenged by marketers, and I can hold my own with them. But then there is that level of, you know, between you can do a really good root treatment, and I can do really good marketing, but then you have to refer that one out because it's just too difficult. And that's how I feel about marketing. We can do a good bit of campaign yourself if you just want to spend the time learning, or you refer it out, or you do what some dentists do, refer all of it out. Yeah. But you've still got to have a level of understanding of why you're referring it out, what it'll look like when you come back from the specialist. You know, you've got, I think it's someone's responsibility, if you're paying that type of money, to realize and appreciate what you are spending it on, and how and where that money's going to. But we haven't got the time, have we? We've got our head down, we get stressed, we put the money out, they send us a report, and we go, oh, I'm getting new patients, so it doesn't matter. But that's okay until those patients don't feel, you know, that isn't filtering through with bums on the chair, and you start thinking, what the hell's going on now? You know, am I being ripped off? And those thoughts start to go through your head, and you start spiraling, and you start thinking, is this worth it? And then suddenly the marketer's the worst person in the world, ripping you off, stealing your money, when in fact it probably isn't. It could be a crap receptionist who's not answering the telephone. Yeah. And that's what I mean by it ain't rocket science. You know, if you can get certain things in place, have a small element of understanding, then, you know, it becomes you know, it becomes a no-brainer. It becomes easier, and you can choose the right marketer. I mean, I have amazing marketers. I mean, the ones I use are brilliant, and I can see the amount of work they put in. I appreciate it. I understand it. I know it, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the stuff they do, but I can certainly do 50% of it. But the other 50% is just goes well above my head.
When I look at your career so far as a general dentist, you've done so much. How do you actually balance it all in terms of doing the clinical aspect of dentistry? You're running a practice, you're running courses, you're posting regularly on the Facebook groups. You're doing all of this, and of course you probably have your own family commitments as well. How are you juggling all of that and still keeping, you know, a sane mind through it all?
I don't know. Do you know what? My brain works in slots of time, you know. So, you know, after we finish tonight, it will be one call for 10 minutes, and I'll switch off. Everything goes off, and I completely, you know, there's a great series about the Pembrokeshire murders or something, or the Wales murders. It's brilliant. So I chill out there. When I chill out, I really do chill out, or I'll go and watch my daughter play netball, and I'll chat with my son, watch movies. So I find that downtime. But you know, like the group, people think I'm on the group all the time, but I'm not. I mean, I've only posted once in a week. And, you know, I only post when I feel passionate. So I could be riding on the Peloton bike, and I go, right, I'm going to post that. I whack it out, and off it goes, and I don't think about it again. You know, and I've got a good team at work, and I've gone down to 3 days a week now. So, you know, and I just try and delegate to the right people. And delegation is key. I think it's probably delegation is key, but going down to 3 days a week was quite scary for me, because I'm used to doing 5-6 days a week. So it was quite scary, but I've got some really lovely staff who really look after me. So I'm blessed, you know. So, you know, but I also sell the practice. So if any of your 1,000 dentists want to buy a packed practice, I'm your man.
Let's talk about associates. So newly qualified dentists and young associates. What do you look for in associates when you're hiring, and how do you think associates can be making most of the resources available to us in this current day and age?
What do I look for? Do you know what? I'm an old timer. I just go gut feeling, you know. Someone's nice, got a nice smile, they care about their work. Everything else will fall into place, you know. You know, I just think, are they likable? Are they chatty? Would people like them? I've got a new associate starting with us soon, and I can't wait for him to start. He's really keen, young dentist. You know, he's gonna be brilliant. I won't embarrass him by telling him his name, but you know, I think he'll be amazing. And everyone's really keen for him to start. He's well dressed. He's got a good smile, and I just think, you know, that's what I look for. You know, I just are they nice? Are they nice and chatty, or are they just? And you can get a feel about people, can't you? And I think, you know, and that's all I look for. And I go through the process of them asking questions, but I'm not really interested in the dentistry. I think the new dentists now are a different, like I said, a different caliber. I mean, to take advantage of, or I don't know, but the advice I'd give to newly qualified dentists is probably to slow down a bit.
Okay.
You know, don't think, well, you know, it's all great to go on smile courses, veneer courses, and, you know, whitening courses, bonding courses, but just slow down, you know, get the basis of dentistry, you know, the caring side and the nurturing side, that beginning part, and the rest will come along. But don't feel you have to whack on in and become a cosmetic dentist on Instagram with 200,000 followers within 6 months, because you know, that will in itself become problematical. So it's almost going, you know, yes, get the notes right, and you know, and that's amazing, but and that will protect the young dentist. But if there's too much of a rush to go the other way and become the Instagram dentist, I think there will be problems there too, because it will just lacks that basis of experience. And you know, I did the NHS for 10-15 years before I went 100% private. So I just think just slow down a bit, you know, just slow down, just keep your feet firmly on the ground. So it's okay to do a course a year and then try it out and see how it goes, and not like 9 courses a year. And you know, you're just like a Duracell bunny, not knowing where to go and running everywhere. That's what I would advise new dentists, just to maybe slow down, find the feet, find where you are. Because you might bloody hate cosmetic dentistry, and you've spent the whole year spending all these courses. And you know, yeah, that's my biggest bit of advice I'd give to newly qualified dentists.
How would you develop those softer skills? I guess you could have a mentor maybe, but how would you have that feedback to know that you're developing in how you maintain that rapport and establish that rapport with patients, and how that relationship grows? How can you assess yourself and grow in that? Is it just a matter of just seeing patients over and over again?
I don't know. Is it age? Yeah. You know, I think that's probably age and experience, which is, you know, you probably hit the nail on the head, you know, and that comes on with time, doesn't it? To know where it's going from, you know, just shut up. Do you know what I mean? Just shut up and listen. Listen to the patients, listen to the people who are talking, you know, listen to the patient. You know, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You listen less than you talk. So if you end up going all these courses, you'll be like this, you know, this verbal diarrhea, and you think, just hold and listen. And I think the more you listen, and that's what I teach all my clients, is if you want to sell, you just listen, you know, and then if you sit there, you'll find all sorts of stuff that's under the surface and what they're wanting. And rather than bringing out all these models, and which models are great, but bringing out all the models and, you know, all your certificates, and just shut up and listen. That's you know, that's how I feel.
You've been establishing yourself within the orthodontic field in terms of Invisalign and all that you're doing with Invisalign and the Practice Platinum Solutions course. How have you prevented yourself from becoming distracted from other areas of dentistry? And is there any particular reason why you didn't go all the way of specializing to become an orthodontist?
I'm not clever enough. You can forget it. I'm not clever enough to specialize. I remember I left college, 1997, I left uni. And I remember saying to myself, I will never do another exam in my life again. And I didn't. I did a small one when I did an implant course at the Eastman, and I did the extended IAS course, which is, you know, anyone, guys and girls out there, if you need an ortho course, that is the one, the IAS course. I did it with Prof. Hobson. He's a bloody superstar. You know, he's mentored me, and you know, you need to know what the easy cases are before you can even start. Because I remember I looked back before I did, you know, I went on the full course, and I was doing, you know, I thought were easy, but they weren't. They were exceptionally difficult. So, you know, you know, so your question would be, you know, about me not going the whole way. One, I didn't have the time, but two, I didn't want to do anymore because I'd done what, 11, 9, 10 years of studying, and I wouldn't have been clever enough. As simple as that. I can't read papers very well, and you know, I can't analyze things the same way that you probably can. I can't do that. I don't know why I've never been able to do that.
Yeah. So earlier on, you were saying that you probably wouldn't start up a new practice, but if you were starting over again in 2021, would you start a squat practice? Would you purchase a new practice? How would you approach that?
It'd be a squat every time. I've never bought. Well, do you know what? I did buy one person's practice once, and the other 5 were squat practices. But I built my neighbouring practice. He was getting older, and I remember I said, "Look, I'll buy you practice." It was like for $100,000, and he said, "No, I'm not selling." So 12 months later, an associate and him had fallen out. And the associate had left. He was going to nick his patients, and he came back to me and he said, "Well, you can buy it now." I said, "Well, now it's $10,000." And he went, "I can't sell it for that." I said, "Well, you've either got $10,000 in your pocket, or you close and shut the door." So I bought his for $10,000, and I went, "Well, that'll have to include all your equipment as well." And he went, "I can't include that." I said, "Well, we'll throw it in the bin, but it's $10,000 or nothing." So one year it was $100,000, and the next year it was, 12 months later it was $10,000. So it's the only practice I've bought. But I would definitely only buy. For me, it was always the thrill of the chase. It was the thrill of the build. It was mine. It just felt right. I like going in with 2 feet. I like people to know about me and go, "Bloody hell, he's set up here." I like to compete with people who are trying to set up as well. It's just survival of the fittest. I love that buzz. But now I love sharing other people's buzzes. I spoke to someone today who's going to set up a practice, and it's really fascinating listening to the different ideas. And they can send me a picture or a postcode, and I can tell within 3 seconds it's not a good idea, and it will cost them a fortune in marketing. Because I did it so many times, and the process I went through, it's just like second nature to me now. And I know tomorrow I could set up a squat practice tomorrow, 4 miles from me, and it would be fully booked day one, without a doubt. And I don't know why anyone's not done it. Everyone will see where I'm living now. I'm not telling anyone where I live, but it's just down the road. There is a town, and there is no dentist doing Invisalign. The marketing is pants in the whole area. They don't do anything. Implant people come down to me to Exeter, and it's like that. Someone should just go, "Right, that's me. There you go. Find a place on the main street. Put your plaque up, do a bit of marketing. It would be a piece of cake." Look, I might do it now.
Do you still think it's affordable for new dentists to get to that place where they can actually raise the capital and build a squat? Is that still a realistic thing to do?
I think a lot of it's family money now that you need behind you to be able for the bank to say yes. But I mean, I set up a practice in Exeter for 140 grand.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. 2 surgeries, 140 grand, right on the main street, and job done. Absolutely. So that's not a lot, to ask a bank for.
Yeah.
But, you might have to have your parents guarantee it if you're young, or get a partner and see if they will, someone who's a little bit older and a bit more knackered like myself to put some money into it. There's other ways, there's ways round to finance a deal, rather than just going in and seeing if you get a loan from the bank. Sometimes it's a no from a bank, unfortunately, and they're probably getting harder.
Have you always had that competitive nature about yourself?
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. Always. I could tell you some very, very funny stories. I don't know if I should really, but I remember that one of my neighbouring practice. I'm in quite a small town, about 8,000. I'm the only dentist. So another dentist was going to set up, and they were going to rent. I shouldn't say this story now. I wish I hadn't, but I will. So another dentist was going to rent a room in the local pharmacy.
Yeah.
So I heard about this. So I went down to the pharmacist and I said, "Look, mate." I said, "Look, come on." I said, "We're both businesses in a small town, and you're now going to eat into my turnover."
Yeah.
And you're taking this dentist on, and he's renting a room for you for like £700 a month or £800 a month. And he went, "It's just business, Grant." I went, "All right, okay." So I left the building. So I went up to my practice, and I got on the phone, and I phoned up the local council.
Yeah.
And I said to the council, I said, I want to open a pharmacy. And because the other guy was a pharmacist. And I said, I'm going to open a pharmacy. And they said, well, have you got a location? I said, yes. So I said where my location was. I said, I don't want a building. I'm going to do an online pharmacist.
Yeah.
And they went, well, there's already a pharmacist there. I said, well, I don't care. I'm doing an online pharmacy. So he goes to me, he goes, well, I know him. I said, well, I still don't care. Please send me the application. So I filled out the application. I think it cost me about 200 quid. Sent it off that I was doing this online pharmacy. I walked over to his pharmacist and went to his associate pharmacist and said, look, I'll pay you like 30 grand to work because you need a pharmacist to be an online pharmacist.
Yeah.
I went to see his associate pharmacist, said, I'll pay you 30 grand to run my online pharmacy. And within 3 weeks, or 3 days, in fact, he phoned me and he goes, I don't think I'll bother with the dentist. I said, okay, it's all good. I think I'll cancel my online pharmacy. So, see, you've got to, you know, that competitive nature, you know, it wasn't illegal what I did. It was just probably, you know, I've had to move and shake a little bit as I go along to look after what's mine. Yeah. And, you know, I've you know, in Plymouth when I had a practice, another guy was going to set up a practice next door. So I bought the house, you know, there was a 5-bedroom house that he was building up to buy. And so then I got someone that I paid to compete to buy the house, and at the last minute they pulled out, and then they went back in, pulled out, and the dentist went, I can't be bothered, so they left. So there's, you know, I've done things over my time that haven't been underhand, but you know, I love the competitive nature of it, and I've had things happen to me, and I think, well, I deserve that. Karma got me on that one, you know. Yeah. I've passed all that type of thing. I just want to live a nice, happy life with family now, you know. Madness, but good fun.
What would you say you'd want people to remember you for? What's important to you when it's all said and done?
Oh, that's a tough one. I just want to create a change, you know. I'd like to create a change somewhere in my life. I want to be. I think that would make my purpose to sort of make a change, and I'd love to make a change in dentistry and be remembered for making a change. You know, I'd love that. You know, to have that on, you know, my tombstone. I just made a change. That'd be nice. You know.
Yeah.
I'll get emotional.
I would say that's probably happening. I mean, if it wasn't for, let's say, social media, things like the Facebook group, and me just being able to connect and see all that's possible in the world of dentistry, I'm sure we've probably got different backgrounds and upbringings, but the fact that I could resonate with the way you saw dentistry and the way you put your perspective out there, I feel like that is making a change or impacting individuals like myself anyway.
That's very kind of you. I mean, that means something, you know. And it's nice. Thank you.
What would you say dentistry is to you? What is dentistry?
Do you know what? Dentistry is just a job. It's just a job to me. I like the interactions. I like what it's brought for me. You know, as in us being able to chat, me meeting you, me meeting other people. You know, being able to teach. It's just been a sort of a job that has then branched out to many other things in life, and I think that has been sort of a seed that has allowed me to sort of develop and do all the things that I want to do in life, whether it's water ski or snow ski or, you know, ride a bike. It's been able to be that catalyst, I suppose, but it's just a job. And, you know, it's a hard job, you know, it's a really hard job, and it's getting harder. You know, it's getting more demanding, patients are getting more demanding, and it's, you know, it's almost becoming a pull. You know, it can grind you down, to be honest, with the GC and indemnities. It's tough. It's really tough. And I don't know whether the dentists like yourself are just used to it, but for people like me, you start to think it's getting harder, getting harder and harder. So, you know, it is a job, but it's a bloody hard job, you know, stressful job.
I feel like we don't know any better. So,
do you know, mate, I think you're right. You know, gone are the days when patients used to be able to make a complaint and you'd go, well, okay, if you want to sue me, I'll look forward to the challenge. You know, gone are those days. I've had tigers. This is no joke. I've had baby tigers running around my waiting room when I first started dentistry. I used it as a marketing ploy, but I don't know whether you remember Matt Damon. He was in a film about, he was in a zoo, the man who built a zoo or whatever. Have you ever seen that? Well, that was about a Dartmoor zoo that closed down because all the animals escaped. Okay. And it was, unfortunately, I was part of that because they rang me up and said, did you have tigers? Did your patient bring baby tigers? So I was treating the patient, and the patient went, I've got tight baby tigers. I went, oh, could you bring some? And
Yeah.
she brought them to the practice. And they were running around the floor, these little baby tigers. I've been like, that, bloody hell. But yeah, so things have changed. I'm sure the GDC would have hammered me now for having baby tigers running around.
Yeah. But no, thank you so much for coming on to this call tonight. I know it's in the middle of your busy schedule, and that's just testament to how you're willing to contribute and just share. So now I want to say thank you for everything that you're doing and for this right now.
Brilliant. Well, lovely to meet you.
Yes. Guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing more videos like this where we'll have special guests like Dr. Grant. Turn on those notifications and we'll see you at the next one.